in Salem, New Jersey at the Mannington Township, home of Mannington Mills. Hey everybody, this is John Weller. I'm at Mannington Mills headquarters in Salem, New Jersey with Zehner. I gotta be honest with you, I've been looking forward to this. I did a little bit of research before we came out here. And to be honest with you, this might be the most interesting story in the flooring business. Started by your great-great-grandfather, is that correct?
Yeah, great to be with you, John. And we're really happy to have you and your team here in the meadows of South Jersey. Some call it our little swamp here, but we like to call it the meadows. It's a nice rural part of the state, and we have been here in continuous operation since 1915. Pretty amazing story. We have been family owned continuously throughout that time.
1 out of a million companies make it past third generation.
Yeah.
You are 5th generation now. I think I read you survived 2 world wars, 19 recessions. So it is a miracle, 1 in a million story. And, you know, I think our industry is built on family-owned businesses, generational businesses, and adaptation is key.
Absolutely. We've learned a number of things. It is a unique story, you know, under 3% make it to the 3rd generation. So getting into the 5th is a special thing, and we're honored. I'm honored. I recently took over the role of chairman of the board from my uncle. I've worked with the company in various different roles for 20 years, but we don't take that legacy lightly, and we don't take the lessons that we've learned, all the lessons, good and bad, that we've learned over the years for granted. One of the key things that we've learned is continue to invest in the business, really control our own destiny, and investing in the business for us has meant a commitment to domestic manufacturing here in the United States. That has been extremely important throughout our history. We have 8 plants in the United States. We also have a plant that we operate in the UK. But at the end of the day, for us, and this is our mantra, is be the best people to do business with in the industry. Invest in great people, treat them right, and recognize the importance of being good to do business with our customers. So that has really been some guiding principles. We have core values, but those have really been guiding principles for 110 years now.
Listen, I can tell you that was a thing that resonated. The entire story is really incredible, but the thing that resonated with me most was your great-grandfather's quote that is on the wall in the boardroom. And hiring great people is his secret, and being the easiest company to work with. And I got to tell you, like this partnership started maybe 6 months ago.
Yep.
And it was apparent to us. Just I'm not blowing smoke here because I'm sitting here with you. We said internally, these people are different. These people are easy and fun to work with. So we've been really, really excited about this partnership. And you know, I would tell you, when everything else is equal, and in the industry that we're living in, especially in hard surface, there's a lot of options. If you take all those things and put those on the table, and then you inject being the easiest company to work with that cares about their people and their customers, I think, you know, working with family-owned business to family-owned business, you understand the struggles, you can empathize with those struggles, and you can help solve problems that other people may not even care about.
That's right.
And they definitely don't understand.
That's right.
You guys do understand that.
Well, yeah. So we have been dedicated to supporting the independent retailer for decades throughout our history. And we really tried to show some strong signals of that dedication to our customer, not only being good to do business with, well, what does that mean? Ways to do that is to drive value to your customer. And for us, we took time in the 80s and 90s saying, okay, who is our core customer? And that's the independent retailer. So we made a strong commitment to them by not getting into the home centers. And that was an important move at that time. Just an example of how we've made that commitment, and we've maintained that commitment since the early 90s. You do not see the Mannington brand in the home centers. That allows our independent retailer to be successful with our brand, know that they own that brand in their store. It's an example, but you can't rest there, right? You got to constantly ask, how do we drive value? How do you drive value to that independent retailer? How are you easier to do business with? Beautiful product has always been a tenet. We got a beautiful quality, high performing product, and we got to continue to invest in that, and that's been a commitment. But our retailer has also seen that we've worked hard on driving unique services to the retailer to be easier to do business with, and tools. We're looking at, it's not just product, it's got to be services, and it's got to be tools to help them be able to articulate why they're important to the consumer, and make their life easier doing business with the consumer. So that's been really part of our work over the last decade, John, and that's a big reason that led us to our partnership with Broadloom. You guys have done an incredible job figuring out a platform of digital tools, right, that the market has really explained to you is important and drives value, and you guys are experts at it. So when we were looking at our options on who to partner with, it was obvious you guys were leaders, you knew your stuff, and had done your research and really could drive value to that independent retailer. So it was really a no-brainer. That's what we're about. And so we're extremely excited about this partnership. I know we've just rolled it out, but it was great to see the reception at Surfaces. It's been great for our team to see the reception as they're engaging on one-on-one in the independent stores. But we think we've just gotten started, and we want to help get the word out that this partnership is extremely meaningful.
Well, Zach, to be honest with you, it's very significant that you guys are focused on exclusively the independent retailer and not the box stores and the e-commerce stores. And I'll tell you how, why it makes us even more excited and why we are so optimistic about this partnership. There's a lot of companies, and listen, there's nothing wrong with this. Everyone has their own way of going to market, but resources and a lot of thought and time and investment go into how do you accommodate all these different segments of the market.
Yep.
And so when we're working with a company, we have to accommodate, and we're working with a very small subset of that company with the resources to figure it out for the independent retailer. The difference with you guys is every conversation is 100% about the independent retailer. That's where all your resources are going. That's where your mind, everything that we're doing. And so for us, it helps us optimize at a very different speed.
Good.
At a very different level. So as you said, we just started, but we are super excited. And thank you so much for bringing us here.
Absolutely.
We're excited about the future, and we'll see what happens.
Right. Well, thank you, John. Again, thank you for taking a minute and learning more about our company, learning more about this partnership. We're extremely excited and look forward to rolling it out to the entire network.
Awesome. Thank you, Zach.
Thanks, John.
David, thanks so much for having us here. We just got done with a really amazing conversation with Zach.
Yeah.
And I got to be honest with you, man, you're lucky. Like, there's a lot of places you can work in the flooring industry, but I'm not sure there's another Mannington in the flooring industry. Zach took us through kind of the evolution of his family and this being a fifth generation. And what really stuck with me is around this building are quotes from his great-great-grandfather. Yeah. And one of them that really stuck with me was the secret to all the success that you guys have had is hiring great people and being the easiest company to work with. And I'm curious, you've been here for 20 years.
Yep.
How does that play? I mean, was that part of your decision-making process coming here? And what is that like? Because it's got to be different.
Mannington is a really special place to work. The people that we hire tend to align with our core values, and every single employee, there's many companies that they'll talk about their core values and who and what they are, and you'll see it maybe on some PowerPoint slides, but we live and breathe our core values each and every day, and every single employee that we have can recite them without even thinking about it. Work hard, play hard, control your own destiny, do the right thing, care. those are the things that we believe in. We want to be the best people to do business with in the industry. We are a family-owned and operated company. We're professionally managed, but we view ourselves like most retailers are. They're family-owned businesses as well. We're able to, make tough decisions. We're not worried about corporate boards. We're not worried about shareholders. We're not worried about market reaction. Sometimes we'll flex and we'll expand businesses that are growing, and then sometimes we'll cut back in areas that just aren't working, aren't delivering the profit or the sales that we expect. So it is a very unique and special place to work, and it's been a rewarding 20 years.
Well, I can tell you the tour that you just gave us has been incredible, and getting to meet the designer, and somehow you guys are using all these different influences from all these other industries and the fashion industry to make decisions is really something. But I will say, I've been part of a lot of companies myself before starting Floor Force and now being Broadloom, and that culture comes out in the products. I mean, because when you have everyone pulling the same direction, it's just that one little more that people care about what they're doing, and it comes out in the details. And I think you guys are really exhibiting that. As we walk around the facility, you see something, even to where you're matching the colors of the toilets. I've never seen that before, but that's a detail that matters.
It does. We get a lot of chuckles when people go down to the styling area and they're like, why are those toilet seats hanging on the wall? We're actually using them as part of the design process when we're designing, especially tile visuals. You got to make sure that the colors and patterns are going to complement what you find in today's appliances and plumbing. So yeah, it's that extra attention to detail that separates us. We're not in the home centers. We are very intentional in the products that we deliver to the independent retailer. A lot of research goes into it, not only trying to understand today's home fashion and what are the emerging trends, and then designing floors that are going to complement those trends, but doing the extra detail, doing voice of customer research where, we're taking those colors, those patterns, and we're getting in front of not only the retail sales associate, but we get in front of consumers that are actually in the market to buy a floor. And we have to know, by the time we're going to spend millions of dollars on samples, it's our biggest marketing expense, we have to know that that product is going to be successful. And we, especially in the independent retail, because we know a consumer can go ahead and shop and get inspiration in a home center, but we feel as if we need to have products that have got meaningful differentiation, that, innovation or differentiation that actually matters to the consumer, something that is actually going to impact her purchase decision. We want to make it easy so that our independent, especially retailers, all they're having to do is really take orders as opposed to have to really hard sell the product. The product sells itself.
Well, and that folds right into what we're doing together. And we're just started this program, and you're going to see, we're going to show you guys some of the things that we've discovered through data and talking to retailers. And we actually, just by accident yesterday, I asked all of our account managers, I said, if you happen to be in a conversation with a dealer in the next week or so who's got the Mannington program, the digital retailing program on their website, and they have anything to say, whether it is positive or negative, I'd love to be brought into that conversation. Yesterday at 4 o'clock, before I got on the plane to come here, one of the account managers said, do you have time to jump on? I said, let's go. Thank you for letting me in here. Sorry to take up some time, but I am going to Mannington tomorrow, and I would love for them to hear from you, your experience so far. I mean, we just got this thing launched recently, but the best thing that all of us can hear here at Broadloom and at Mannington is, how's it going? Has anything happened that, you can talk about?
Yeah. So we've had a couple clients already kind of use the services, which has been fantastic. All the ones that we have had the samples sent to them have either bought from us or kind of in the process of kind of finalizing things. So it's worked out really good for us.
That is awesome. And I heard in that conversation, that there's the user experience for the consumer that has made it all of a sudden you're having consumers order samples and it's probably speeding up the sales cycle tremendously. But you also said that there was a part of this that actually helps you out because you're also busy.
Yeah. So I am a mother, obviously working mother of two. I've got two little boys, and we are a baseball family. And my husband actually we were just talking about this the other day, that I have not actually been to the grocery store from like produce all the way back to like, your meats and your milk, and then to check out in months. Because I do everything from my phone. I just pick what I want and it gets delivered to me. So I think this is a great way that people can kind of shop online, shop on their couch, shop when they're at the baseball field, and they can get things sent to them. I also think too, we had talked about just how we are a family owned and operated business. I'm kind of the second generation here. My parents started the company. My aunt works here. One of our, I guess it would be my sister-in-law's husband works here. And so we're a small family owned business, and we don't want to work on Sundays, and we close at 5:30 every day. So sometimes it's hard for our clients to get here, especially if they're busy working people. So I think having the samples sent to them, having them to be able to hold it up to their wall, hold it over, by their couch, making sure the colors match. We always suggest that our clients take home any of our products, just because everything looks so different in your home than it does in our showroom. So I think it's just a great way. It's kind of bringing kind of our very busy culture into kind of more of the modern phase, where we can kind of do it at home, and then we can come in here and say, hey, I'm ready, and then we can start the measure process and and go from there.
That is awesome. Well, listen,
Yeah.
listen, we're pioneering something together.
Yeah.
And, theoretically, when we are working with manufacturers like Mannington and putting something together on paper, based on everything, you would assume that if we make it easier for the consumer to order a sample or visualize a product on your website, that we will get them closer to making an educated decision about what they like, leading to a conversation or a visit to your showroom. It sounds like so far that is playing out exactly as we had hoped.
Yeah.
And our goal is, as you're working with Jewel, that we continue to do things to give you even more opportunities and make it easier for you to work with Mannington, and give you more of a reason to continue to promote your website. At the end of the day, I mean, what's really cool about the way this works, most brands, Mannington included, have had sample ordering on their website. But what you learn is when you get those leads and you call a consumer who ordered a sample off a manufacturer's website, half the time they don't even know why you're calling them.
Right.
They're not at the end of that journey.
Yeah.
But your website is, when they're at a local website looking at flooring, they're not only looking at the products, they're looking at who you are, the services you provide, do you do a turnkey installation? And that usually means you're at the end of that cycle. So when you call those customers, generally it's a much quicker sales cycle than a normal one. I also heard you guys talking about that you got notified of the delivery of the sample. That's how you know how to call these people?
Yeah, so first we got notification that the samples had been ordered. So then we knew that. And we actually kind of had laughed because I think I should not be working at home, but I was working at home, and I'd seen an email come across saying that somebody had ordered samples. This is our most recent one. And I was like, oh, fantastic. I'll deal with it in the morning. So when I got to work, I had passed it on to one of our sales team. And they were like, oh, she already called this morning. So it was just kind of nice that, she'd already beat us to it. And then we were just kind of there to kind of follow up and make sure, if she needed anything else. And then when the samples were delivered, we actually get a tracking number when they've been shipped. And then we just can kind of follow it. And so my job is, so when we see that somebody's ordered a sample, I'll pass kind of that information to one of our salespersons. They'll handle it from there. They'll follow the tracking. And then we do get a delivery notice when it's been delivered. And then another time, we can follow up right after that. Hey, I see you got your samples. How else can we help? Do you need anything else? And are you ready for a measure and for us to come out?
I mean, you've got it already dialed down. I mean, I think what we're going to be able to do together is look at success stories like yours and stories that are happening and start take that information and make sure that everyone's looking at every opportunity to leverage this. Like we have retailers now that are actually proactively sending samples to customers who call up and say, hey, I don't know when I'm coming in, but I know what I'm kind of looking for hardwood, and it's like whitish looking, and they're like, can I see some samples? And people are starting to do that. Wow, that's something I've never even thought about. That as we continue to work together and create efficiencies for the consumer, we're creating efficiencies for the retailer. And when you don't think about, but someone who owns a store who has 2 small children, they can't be in the store 24/7. They can't compete with a box store in that way. But what they absolutely can do is give the consumer all those tools online to do a lot of the things that they would normally be doing in the store online, and then tee them up to have a more meaningful conversation and cut that sales cycle down. And I think you're going to be pretty pleased when you hear what we've already accomplished with some of these retailers. So David, based on you saying that like your primary market is the independent retailer, does that like change the way that you guys look at design and the R&D process versus, I would think, the rest of the market?
Most definitely. I mean, the Mannington brand's not available in home centers. We're focused on that mid to premium level of the market. So all of the beautiful products that we design from that standpoint, they are targeted towards helping that independent retail, maximize their business, in that mid to premium price point. And to drive incremental profitability, we need to have products that are going to help them separate themselves from what's available in the big boxes.
Yeah, well, that's really important. I mean, listen, one of the things that we caution retailers about, and it's really evident when you walk into a store, it's really hard for an untrained eye to know what is different about everything in that room. And it even gets worse on a website. We have a lot of retailers that believe just putting every product that's possibly available to them on a website is the best thing to do. But what you really are doing is basically watering down the value that you bring. And what we say is find the products that actually differentiate you in the marketplace. If everything that's on your website depicts what's in a box store or online, that's not really separating you in the market. So it sounds like the way that you guys design, the way that you guys look at it, taking a Mannington collection and making that front and foremost on your website will absolutely help separate you in the market, because you don't even service or design to that market. So listen, is there anything that you would like to share that Mannington's working on that is maybe nobody knows about? Because this video is going out. We just talked about the legacy of the company, built on hiring the right people, being the easiest company to work with. We just launched digital retailing. All those things are taking this 100-year-old company and taking that reality, and now we're pushing it into the future. And I was wondering, from a sales standpoint or from a product standpoint, one more thing that we can add to this conversation.
It's a great question. And by the way, so exciting to hear about that dealer's experience. It reinforces the partnership that we've got between Broadloom. We share dealers together, and we're committed because we really believe that Broadloom is delivering what the modern day floor covering retailer needs.
I'm going to interrupt you right there, and I'm going to say something. We are partners with, and it's interesting because it's you guys, us, and the manufacturer. And what really struck me, and you'll see it, where this video is going to be included in this, we're going to show it. But what this retailer said at the end of it was, listen, we're doing this together. So you tell me what I can do to help you. Yep. I'll do anything I can possibly do because I believe what you're doing will take the legacy of this company into the future, and I will help you do anything. We're learning together, and that struck me like, man, we really have something special that we're doing with Mannington, with the retailer, to change things for the better and position these companies and your company to take it to the next 100 years, which is really special.
Yeah, and gosh, all of our research, we spend so much time on our website, but all of our research tells us how important the retailer's website is, and how they actually want and prefer to go to their site to look at what is available at their place of business, because that's actually who they're going to do business with. So, look, we're big believers, big supporters. The digital marketing is key in today's world. Online visualization, being able to deliver samples into the store, it all drives improved conversion. And we're excited to be part of this partnership between ourselves, you guys, and the retailers.
Well, I'm going to let a little bit of a secret out of it, since we are talking about what's next.
Yep.
So we have had some early success with this program, and I got to be honest with you, you guys really do walk the walk. We are working on, and we'll be releasing very shortly, thanks to you guys making this happen. We are going to introduce a way to turbocharge this program, because what we've seen is if a consumer is confronted with the option of ordering a sample, visualizing the product, a lot of those consumers will take that action, which makes it more efficient and easier for them. And so we want to get that in front of more consumers, not just the ones that find the website organically. So Mannington's working with us to put together an actual paid advertising component to the program to turbocharge this, to take dealers that want to take this up to the next level. So that is something that we will be releasing here shortly together. That's already a way to optimize this program and take it to the next place.
I'm excited to see what it's going to do. I think it's going to be a game changer for us.
Well,
most definitely.
Listen, this is really exciting. We're at the very beginning here. We're doing it together. I really appreciate it. Thanks for your time, David.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
All right. Well, first off, John, I think before we even get into some of the live Q&A and talk about the incredible trip that you guys took to New Jersey to check out Mannington's facility, obviously we have to thank all that made that happen at Mannington, from Zach to David to Lori, the designers, the full team. John, you want to just give them a quick shout out before we get into it?
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. That was a really, really awesome trip. I did not know what I was in for. I've been to obviously a lot of plants and a lot of headquarters, but it was really special and unique for this industry.
And look, a lot of times we're traveling together, whether it's shows or visiting manufacturers. This is one that I definitely had some FOMO on. Just getting to hear and see, it's not just a marketing or company talking line from Mannington. I think you referenced it. Everyone that we work with, there's that energy, there's that passion, it's that work hard, play hard mentality. Wish I was able to join you, Todd, and Jenna on that trip, but I know we got a bunch of questions to get to here. So I think they'd rather hear us talk about that than hear me ramble about how jealous I am about that trip. So without further ado, let's hear what the flooring businesses of the world had to think. So we got Susan from San Diego. I just built a brand new website. Susan, if you're there, let us know on what platform, because that's going to affect this. But will this work on my new website? John, easy one for you to tackle early.
It's an easy one. I'm assuming your brand new website is not a Broadloom website. If it is a Broadloom website, 100% this will work natively right on your website. If you just built a website, unfortunately, this will not work on your new website. But what I would tell you is you should give us a call. We can talk about how to make this as painless and easy for you. I mean, I'm going to say this. We've unlocked something. And, when e-commerce came into the marketplace 15 years ago, everyone knew that, wow, this could have a fundamental impact. And people were scared, actually. Manufacturers and retailers alike were afraid what e-commerce might do to the market. We are at a pivotal point or a tipping point where I believe we've unlocked something, and it's better than e-commerce. And you do want to be part of this. I don't think you want to miss out. This is not a small change and a difference in a website. This is a completely different way for the consumer to interact with your company. And I think you want to be part of it. So reach out to us and we can talk about how to make it as easy and pain-free as possible to participate in these programs.
Because look, at the end of the day, John, even when you've been pitching this digital retailing concept for a very long time, right? It's all about the consumer journey, the best shopping experience online. It's really hard to put it, even from the marketing side, into one concise way to communicate that to the industry. And when you're able to go behind the hood or under the hood and see how it's built and then see how it really works for your business, right? This isn't really like a tool or thing that we're selling, but rather a mindset shift of how to leverage technology in the flooring industry to improve your business. And the thing that I love about it most, Ron, is once that retailer or flooring business has that aha moment, it's over, right? It's like they get it, they see the value, and then they get their RSAs, their teams, themselves in the platform working, because it's really just working smarter, right? It's using the things in front of you to make your lives easier, to sell more. And it's very contagious in that sense.
You're 100% right. And you heard it when we were talking to Amanda. I mean, what's interesting about this, Jeff, is some dealers don't even recognize that there was this. They just go with it. It just happened. And this is the new default way that they're doing business. And they lean into it naturally. And then there's dealers who are like, yeah, I'm not sure. And it's more of a, tell me how I can do this. And I'm like, look at these leads, look at the way people are changing. And we got to position your company to take advantage of, where we are with these partnerships. So it's happening, and certain people adapt to it differently. But I do believe we are 100% at the tipping point. And this will be, in my opinion, the only way that consumers shop in the next 24 months. I think that's how fast this is moving.
Absolutely. And before we get into the next question, because one of the prompts that we had today was joining the conversation, we got Mr. Deb O'Reilly throwing in his 2 cents of how he looked at Mannington. And Deb said in the 70s and 80s, we bought, promoted, sold millions of dollars of Mannington's products. Their industry experience translated into higher quality products and reliable service. The thing I really love, right, is the whole anti-home center approach, right? Because they're hitting it from all angles for what a retailer truly, it's not, hey, we support you guys, we have a good market rep, we're going to get you good pricing. It's protecting the brands that you carry, right? It's making sure that it's not entrusting your product to some teenager who knows a little bit about toilets, knows a little bit about, light bulbs, and maybe, a couple of categories in flooring, right? They're really entrusting it to the people that are going to carry that reliability, the high quality product, and then installation in the market. And I think when you just look at Mannington's growth, the proof's in the pudding, right? The numbers are there.
I would say this, Jeff. I don't know that I would call it the anti-box store. I think what I would tell you is they are, if you look at their history, 109 years, they have strategically pivoted left, right, up and down, and sideways to stay strategically unique in the marketplace. And I believe they look at the independent retailer as the most strategic partner, and they don't want to compromise the strategic advantage that working with independent retailers provides. And I think that is really what their mindset is. It's just a strategic decision they've made to have their brand differentiated from everybody else in the marketplace.
I think the thing that gets me the most excited, especially about this industry and independent dealers themselves, when we first, you've been in the industry for a while, but when we really started to get into it, 6-7 years ago, at least, from my side, right, the Broadloom side, we really started to understand the industry and see where things are going. That was a time when things were really going all e-commerce, all box stores, all economies of scale. And all the small, SMBs, small to medium-sized businesses, mom and pop shops, were going away, right? The local, electronic stores were, closing, their stores, and small, clothing outlets. I just love the resilience and the fight and the growth that you see on the retail side. Even when you look at what's happening with lumber liquidators now, right? It's like there's just this really incredible space that flooring businesses are able to hold because of the unique structure of the industry. And now with this new set of sales tools and digital retailing, you have all the things that, the box stores and, these large, commerce players have, but you still have that local market presence. You still have that, the reliability you've had in those markets, the history of those names. And it's a very exciting time to be in the flooring industry. John, I know you always say it's the most, or John, why don't you give it to us real quick?
No, I'm not going to do that right now. But
all right, well, today is the best day to be in the flooring industry. So, floor covering industry. So, let's get to the next question. Enough rambling from me. Let's pull it up. It is from Pam in Charleston, South Carolina. I love that we're pulling in the names and locations now from those emails. Look, we knew you guys were going to keep sending the questions via email. I'm giving up on that fight, but now we're able to attribute these. So, Pam, if you're on there, is digital retailing the same as e-commerce? That's a slightly nuanced one, John. Is it?
No, it's not. And I think that's what you were just alluding to. I mean, listen, e-commerce was an optimization, right? There are some efficiencies that are created by being able to order product online. The problem is this, as you indicated, this is a very, very personal and very expensive investment. And very few people are going to order $20,000 worth of flooring from a website without a local person that they trust or a person they trust who's going to hold their hand through the process. So what's really unique that we've been able to defend this space from being completely disrupted by e-commerce and the box stores is because you've got the independent retailer that still today provides the absolute best local representative for the brands that partner with them to give that consumer a hand holding all the way through the process, from shopping to the installation to after the installation. And listen, when you're going to spend $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 on a product, whatever it is, I think you're going to still have most consumers stick with a local expert. And now, like we said, you're making it more efficient and even a much better experience than e-commerce or the box stores can provide. I think we just are at the very, very beginning to see how much market share we can actually take back and bring to the independent retailer with the brands that support them.
So the short answer, John,
is no.
Right. But there is a component of e-commerce built into digital retailing. But the way that we look at it, what we referenced, it's that mindset shift, right? You're not, just because you can send samples online, like, yes, you have e-commerce capabilities, but you're still just thinking about the tool rather than the new way to sell, the new way to provide this improved and better shopping experience, which has not really existed. And bringing this back to Mannington, let's just quickly pull up Dev's. It's almost like we have Dev on here with us. And for those who don't know, Dev is the founder of Rollmaster, now Broadloom business management software. So the man knows what he's talking about when it comes to selling flooring. And in his opinion, while some other manufacturers focus on the high volume demands of big box, and now we see manufacturers are going to be encountering what the other side of that looks like with lumber liquidators, Mannington stands out by prioritizing and supporting independent dealers. And I think Mannington was just able to identify that and committed, right? And stood by that commitment, because not saying this happens with other manufacturers, but in other businesses, you see they take a stand and they think it's the right one. And maybe it's a press move. Maybe it's just a way to, make some noise, but then they revert. Oh, one box store, one private label, no one's going to notice. But I think it's really impressive, the commitment and integrity that team has had throughout the time to really support the independents across the country. All right, let's move right on to the next question. I think we have a couple more. Ooh, all right. This is a good one from Bernie. All right. Hey, Bernie. Is Phoenix part of Mannington's digital program? So I assume this is Mannington's digital retailing program. They are the same company. John, you were there. You were living in the belly of the beast.
I was there. So Phoenix is part of the digital program from Mannington. Mannington started with the optimization of their Mannington products, but they are also bringing in the Phoenix products into the program. So yes, both Phoenix, the carpet line, and Mannington are part of the digital program.
Okay. Well, there you have it. I think that might be our questions. I know we're running at 40 minutes, so we don't want to take up too much more time. But with that, again, when you take a step back and you look at Mannington and how they've approached the market and that retailer first mentality, because at the end of the day, John, we often talk about commodities, right? And at the end of the day, it's about the partners and the platform that you build and the way that you can systematically change that mindset and how you sell. Well, I don't think we are in the position to answer that, right? And I think what we see and what we hear, like on the for those who don't know, the clip that we played, John literally jumped in on an account manager's call, not set up whatsoever, and you can hear the passion, right? You can hear the true earnest approach from the retailer of how they view it, right? I don't see that too often. And I think it's really powerful about how Mannington focuses on that cohort of retailers and invests continually, right? It's not a one-time investment. It is how can they give their partners an edge. I think it's truly commendable. So please drop us a line. We'd love to hear what you think, whether you can comment on this, shoot myself or John a note, reach out to us. But John, is it safe to, I know you teased it a little bit in the video. I don't want to give anything away here, but I think it's safe to say that the beginning of this program is truly just the beginning. And what we have put into market with Mannington and partnering with them is just the tip of the iceberg. Am I overselling or is...
No, I honestly, I don't think you can oversell this. I truly, listen, I've been in this industry my entire life. And as you said, getting websites out there and doing and successfully launching digital advertising was a tipping point. And we were able to take retailers from being invisible, basically, as the internet became more prominent, to being a prominent part of the local market for someone shopping for floor covering. But what we have unlocked with digital retailing is truly transformational. And, every retailer that's listening to this, you get up every single day and you do everything you can do to grow your family business. And we finally have met a place where technology has caught up to this industry and is allowing your store to be open 24/7 and provide value to a consumer who is shopping, as Amanda said, at a baseball game at 2:00 in the morning, Sunday morning, whatever day it is. Your brand, your store, your company can now provide a value that nobody else can match, and bring that down and have a much more a more contemporary way for people to shop and take your family store legacy and what you do and just multiply that exponentially. So I think I don't think you could oversell this, Jeff. It's a really exciting time. And if you're an independent retailer and you're listening to this, listen, there's never been a better day to be in the floor covering business.
There she is, ladies and gentlemen. We were waiting for it. And if you are a retailer, you carry Mannington, or you're interested in this program, head on over to the Broadloom website. On the top of the navigation bar, you'll see a digital retailing tab. Click in there. You'll see all the partners that are in the digital retailing program. Head on down to the Mannington section. If you want a free demo, our team is there to show you how this would work for your website. Again, visualization, e-commerce, sample ordering, branded pages. What John is saying, your website's working 24/7, right? Whether you have the web to chat and it's during hours, whether it's someone that wants to visualize and create these projects, maybe you're not in, and then they just want to get the product in their hands while, after hours or when you're busy, they can order samples. And it's just letting these consumers and shoppers self-educate, find products, fall in love with them, get them to their doorstep, give you the information, the lead information, know exactly when that sample landed. You're just getting smarter about how you sell. So if you're interested in this, definitely check that out. It's our digital retailing tab on the Broadloom website. You can always reach out to myself, John, anyone on the Broadloom team. But I think that is it for our webinar Wednesday. And again, before we shut this down, I think we'd be remiss if we did not give the Mannington team one more shout out. They've been great partners, not just in this program, but hosting the team this week. John was down there, Jen was down there, Todd was down there, and from Lori to Dave to Zach and everyone that made that trip a awesome success. Thank you. And while we couldn't put everything, because this would be like a 2 or 3 hour webinar, we will be hosting some of those videos on our website. We'll send out some communications of how you can watch that from their R&D facility to their design consultants that they have there, or their design team. A lot of great content, extended interviews for what you saw today. But with that, that is another edition of our Webinar Wednesday. I am Jeff Bieber with
John Weller.